imagine something or hypothetically create something for yourself. So Gurbani said, understand what the real listening is. And that was, collect all the thoughts into a single point. If there is a noise inside while you are listening, if somebody else is also chattering, if somebody else is also talking, then you are not listening. Then that is not the right use of the karmindriya. That's not the right use of the ear. So now that is the first step. It's a journey. So what it will do? And we went through that. It gave some hints that we would know the awareness automatically. Sune sat santoh gyan. We would be able to know Sune siddh peer suranath. Sune dharth dhaval akash. So look at the sequence. Look at Manan is, take that word and peel the layer as you are peeling an onion. Peel layer by layer the consciousness with the help of that word and keep on going deeper and deeper into your consciousness. You don't need any more your mind now. Because mind requires time and space. It's movement. And the movement is no more. It's only going deeper now. There's no running around at the horizontal level. You are only going to go deeper. So understand the word mannan, Gurbani. Manne ki gat kahi na jaye. Now literally translated it says that stage cannot be explained. Gat means, one translation is situation, halat. Isdi gati ki ho gayi. It cannot be explained. I would like to look at it slightly differently. Gat, gati, traveling, movement. He says, so manne hai, there is no movement. There is no gati. If there is a gati, if the mind is still moving, then you are not into manana. Utte movement hai nahi. There is absolutely no thought. It's a pure delving into the world. It's pure dhun. It's pure ankar. It's pure vaheguru. It's pure sohang. It's pure om. It's pure bitla. Pure ram. Pick a name. There is nothing else. No other thought, no other emotion, no other energy except that. Hence there is no movement. Manne ki gati. Tatte nu syari hai. Look at it. Gati. If you are into it, there is no movement. If there is no movement, kahi na jaye. Kehne wala kaun hai? But there is no mind. Who's going to say it? The mind drops. Earlier in Sunnah, the mind had not dropped. The mind had concentrated. It had brought all the scattered energy and concentrated into one. And that one was put away to listen to the Guru's word directly. Without analysis, without commentary, without judgment. But now, the mind isn't there. So who's going to say it? Manne ki gat kahi na jaye. There's nobody to say it. Now this is actually a warning to the people like me. The next line. Those who attempt to say it, they have come back to the Sunnah. You get a little bit understanding, you start explaining. So now you are saying it. Je ko kahe, piche pachtaye. I could have used this same time in my own meditation, in my own evolution, isn't it? But what I am doing, I'm spending here. I'm saying it. It happens to every master, every mystic. they tell you that this is the most difficult and painful process. Why? Because they have to separate themselves away from that ultimate energy or to get closer to it. Kabir ji says, Kabir, auran ko updesh te mukh mein par hai ret रास बेरानी राखते खाया घर का खेत. In the effort to save others, रास बेरानी राखते, तो क्या वो खाया घर का खेत. You have to accept the fact that you are yourself compromising, you are giving it away, you are taking that time out. And it is as difficult as you say, mukh mein par hai ret, as if you are literally swallowing the sand. It cuts. Je ko kahe piche pachtaye. Now this is one way to look at it. Another way to look at it, the same, that if the one who has actually gone to the Manan state, how are you going to describe his state? Because the moment you say something, it's going to be wrong. This is the difficulty of every mistake. Gautama Buddha was actually misunderstood so much, and the organized religion of that time misused this statement, because they will ask him, have you seen God? Have you known God? And he will just stay quiet. He will not answer. So they picked up this word and ran. He doesn't know. Or he is denying the God. He is an atheist. He doesn't know the God because he doesn't describe. And whenever he will talk to his disciple, he says, what can be said about that which cannot be said? All you can say, be quiet. The moment you say something about him, it is already wrong, because you have taken something which is beyond the words and have tried to put it into the words. And that's what Gurbani keeps on reminding us. A kath kahani hai. A kath kahani hai. You cannot say it. Don't ever go and tell the world your Guru has told you what God is about. It cannot be said. No Guru can take that credit. Don't misquote your Guru. He cannot be described. It cannot be put in words. It is beyond the language. It's beyond the words. No word, no language, no master can ever do the justice to it. So, because everything you say will be wrong. Everything you say will be half truth. So what you do? You just struggle with it to try to indicate something. Leave some pointers, knowing inside you. What an inadequate job. How to bring that so large a entity into so small a language is impossible. So then what happens? Jo ko kahe, piche pachtaye. It will always leave that feeling of inadequacy. Kagad kalam na likhanahar. It has been translated as that no amount of paper, no amount of ink can say it. I would like to point you out slightly differently. Kagad kalam na likhanhar. When the one who's going to write, when that doesn't exist, what's the meaning of kagad and what's the meaning of paper? What are you going to do with the paper and the pen when the one who's going to use it isn't there, no more there? Na likhanhar. Because that one, that mind which was concentrated in Sunnah has been dropped in Manana. And the mind was one who was going to document it. The mind is no more. Kagad kalam na likhanhar. They are all meaningless. because they don't exist. They have no significance anymore. Because these tools are for what? Say these tools are for manne ka beh karn vichar. The paper and the pencil and the writing is to take that situation and put it in words. To take that state of existence, that state of being, and lock it up in words. But it can't be. Kagad kalam na likhanahar. There is nobody. Why? The mind dropped. What mind is doing? Mind is going deeper and deeper and deeper. And what will find mind when it keeps on going deeper and deeper? It will die. It will go away. The pure dhun, pure sound of that ek ankar will remain. Everything else will go. And that's what the next stage is. That's where you want to go. What good is the master who starts you on a step and then doesn't know what you take you? And Gurbani sequentially is taking this. Look. It's not haphazard. He says, you cannot manne ka beh karn vichar. You cannot do it. Those who try and attempt eventually feel sorry that they could not do. It cannot be done. Why? He says, Aisa naam naranjan hoye jeko man jane man koye. He said, the one who is already in there, has gotten there, is the only one who actually knows the feeling. What feeling? Aisa naam niranjan hoye. That naam, that sound, that feeling is only known to the one who jeko man jana. The one who has actually gone in. The one who actually achieved that state of existence. Rest can talk about it and theorize about it and have put hypotheses about it and this and that and it happens like that, it happens like that. Because those who have gone, they don't say that. Kabir says, Kabira, akat kahani prem ki kabira kahi na jaye, gunge keri sarkara khaye aur muskaye. Gunge keri sarkara. When you give a sweet or anything tasty to somebody who doesn't have the tongue, and then ask to describe it, what is he going to do? He's going to make faces. That's about it. Because he does not have the instrument to communicate what the feeling is, what the taste is. But the man's ego is such that it keeps on attempting to do that. It doesn't stop. It absolutely doesn't stop. I still remember that there was a scientist, when I was reading the Inter Science, that there is one compound in this world whose taste has not been documented, and that's called potassium cyanide. It is such a fast-acting poison that its taste has not been documented, and one scientist said, I'm going to leave that as a gift to the humanity. And he put the pen to the taste and he could only just scrawl. That's it. People are so, I have to know what it is. I have to say what it is. I have to document what it is. Cannot surrender to the inevitability of the nature's laws. The one, and the Sikhism starts from that first step. Even if you know the taste is this, what would you do with it? How good that information is? Then the earth was created so many billion years ago. Okay. So what? There are so many galaxies, so many this, so many that. Is fine. What is that helping you? How is this helping you internally to grow up? Well, you've been collecting a lot of information. Right? But is that information useful to you? Maybe in the outer world it is useful. Right? You can go onto the Jeopardy and answer the questions and make, or who wants to be a millionaire, and you can go there and become a millionaire. That information will be useful there. But is that what your ultimate aim is? If that is, good luck to you. Then this subject is not for you. Metaphysics, mysticism, spirituality has nothing to do with the outer dimension. If that's what your journey is, go read science and technology and sociology and philosophy. Fine. But if you want the evolution of your soul, mind, body system, if you want to evolve, then you collect that knowledge which will help in this, and Gurbani says, okay, let me take you there. If that's your desire, the next step is Mannan. First was Sunana, second is Manana. Mannan means what? He says, now you need to start going deeper. Take one word and start going deeper into it. And here are some tests. Here are some milestones for you to check whether you are going deeper or not. How would you go? He says, Manna Surat Hove Man Buddh. Now this will be repeated again in Sarmakhand. Tithe Kadiye Surat Mat Man Buddh. You will hear that in Sarmakhand also. It's being repeated here. What is happening? It says Surat Hove. Now this word Surati, pure awareness. The word Surati is very, very important. A Buddha used to call right mindfulness. It is so important. And it is just tossed away so easily. Look at an example that the farmer goes to the field. He toils, works hard, cleans up the field. Eventually, once the ground is ready, puts a seed in it. Then he again nourishes the seed, waters it, cleans it out for all the unnecessary roots. The plant comes up. Then it lets it get ready. He then gets the plant, brings the grain home, and then the grain is ground. Look at the journey. Then the grain is ground. Then we make a dough out of it. And out of the dough, we make chapati, the bread. Right? Now, at that last moment, if the bread wasn't turned and stayed on the stove, what happens to the bread? Burnt. The whole journey destroyed. And if you ask what happened, oh, my mind went somewhere else. I was standing right here. Roti tawe de pei ragi po thalna dhyan ke de hor tha chala gaya. Ulta hi nahi. Surati. And Gurbani says, look at this. If the journey of the grain can be destroyed by a single moment of absent-mindedness, what do you think is going to happen to your consciousness? When you are absolutely not aware what's going on inside? What kind of damage is this doing? Are you aware of it? And so that manne ki state jo hai, that one will sharpen the surti, which will have nothing else under its focus except that one. Manne surt hove man buddh. And when there is nothing else, then what happens? You say manne sagala bhavan ki sudh. You will find that all of the creations, the secrets, are slowly opening toward you. The doors are opening. There is a story in Mahabharata that when the mind-body system is not ready and something is disclosed to it, those of you who have studied can relate with it, that Arjuna insists, I want to see your Virat Savarup. You are saying, I am that. Aham Brahmasi. That is your declaration. Mahi Brahma. If that is the case, I want to see the Virat Roop. Now it's a parable. Don't take it literally. So what Krishna does, he opens his mouth and says, take a look at it. Take a look inside, and he cannot. Suddenly he says, close it. So much. I cannot tolerate it. Would you please close your... I cannot see. I cannot take a look. Why? Here is a hint. That's what was happening there. The mind-body system was just curious. Ha ha ha, I want to see. Are you ready to see? Couldn't get even a single glimpse. That is why when we run to a master and say, give me the naam, give me the technique, tell me right now. Okay, fine, I know you are enthusiastic, I know you are very... But are you ready? That's what Kabir meant when he said to one of the disciples who came and said, Kabirji, I want from you the name. He said, that's fine, I'll give it, the secret to you. No problem. And he had a glass like this and said, go get some milk in this. Here's the money. And he looking around and there is a water running. He wants to go there and say, well, where are you going? I told you to go that way. He said, no, I just want to wash the glass. He said, what's wrong with the glass? If there's a little dirt in it, I don't want to put milk in it. He said, aha. A penny worth of milk is so precious to you that you need to clean the glass. And you don't have a value for the God's name worth a penny? Have you looked inside? Is this glass pure enough, washed enough, cleaned enough that you can put that in there? You coming rushing to me, give me the secret, give me the secret. Are you ready? Gurbani says, if you are to the Mannan state, you are ready. And what will happen? Manne sagal bhavan ki sudh. All the secret of all the creation would be revealed to you. The question is, are you ready? And the answer is, you will be ready if you are gone to the Mannan stage. If you're not ready, that means you are deceiving yourself. You don't know what Mannan is. You haven't gotten, you are still running around the surface. You are still running horizontally. And that's one of the very easy trap to fall in. Very easy trap to fall in. Because we look at our daily routine. I get up at this time, I do this particular ritual, and then I go to home and I do everything honestly, and then I come home and I sit down to this and that. So what else? I'm ready. And the Gurbani says, don't go to anybody else to tell them that you are ready. Apply these litmus tests. What? Manne sagala bhavan ki sudh. Manne moho chota na khaye. What does moho chota means? Because we started with manne surat hove man buddh. Right? Surti. Total awareness. Total honest, mindful awareness. Now when we make statements out of awareness or lack of awareness thereof, eventually that word comes back to us. I'll give you the example that Rajneesh always quoted. This was his favorite example. That you look at a beautiful woman and say, I love you. She says, fine, marry me now. So you got married. A few years go by. She isn't pretty anymore. You aren't young anymore. Now what's happening? Now she's insisting, how come you don't love me anymore? Because that statement was not made with full awareness. It was made under what? The presence of the hormone energy. If you were alert and fully aware, you would know that love is a transitory feeling. It is here today it may or may not be there tomorrow. Had you said it, I love you right now, but I don't know what will happen tomorrow, do you think you will get married then? Right? You won't. She will say, what do you mean? Well, I'm telling you the truth. Right now I have a full feeling of love for you. What will happen tomorrow? I don't know that. Okay, then get the hell out. So what do? We make a statement and a complete falsehood. And then it comes and bites us. So that's why Rajneesh built so much metaphors around this particular things that he would basically make so many jokes out of the people and he had his favorite character of Mullah Nasruddin and all that he used to. And I really admire him that he could take a metaphysical concept and simplify it so easily. Manne moh chota nahi khaye means what? There will be nothing that you will say or do that will rebound back on you in this life or in that life. That's manne moh chota. Moh chota doesn't mean the slapping and the punishment and all that, the literal translation. No, it's not. It's basically meaning that there will be nothing that you will do, there will be nothing that you will say that will rebound back and make you feel embarrassed or ashamed. The feeling of guilt will not be there anymore. Why? Because everything will be acceptable to him. Hence, it may or may not be acceptable here. So if it's not acceptable here, you won't say, so that's all right. You don't want me, that's okay. That's why Gurbani said, Bhakta te sansariyan jod ka dena hai. That's why Gurbani said, Bhakta ki chal nirali, chala nirali bhakta keri, bikho marg chalana. Why? Because they are not going to follow the traditional path. They are not going to tell a lie or to make you feel good. What's the difference between the organized religion versus the spiritual masters? Look at what happens nowadays, right? Whenever you take the example here in our day-to-day life, you call some kirtaniya or preacher or saint and say, and you have a congregation in the home. The first thing they're going to ask you, Ji, what is the occasion? Right? So whatever is the occasion, the translation is going to be exactly for that. They are going to read the same line. Lakh khushiyan paatshaahiyan je Sadguru nadar kare. है ना? ਹੁਣ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਘਰ ਬੱਚਾ ਜੰਮਿਆ ਉਹਦੀ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਸਲੇਸ਼ਨ ਬੱਚੇ ਦੀ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਆਈ ਹੈ ਜੀ ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਨੌਕਰੀ ਮਿਲੀ ਹੈ they are going to fit that. Why? Because otherwise the transaction of money exchange is not going to take place. Would they ever tell you that this khushi that you are celebrating is absolutely actually causing you a long-term problem? Sukh mangat dukh aage aave. Janani janat sud bada hota hai. Itna ka na janat din din avd ghatat hai. Do you think a preacher of today is going to a home like Kabir and the mother is celebrating the birthday and he is going to tell, what's the problem with you? What's the matter with you? Don't you see he's getting closer to the death and you're celebrating the birthday? Why don't you advise him, tell him to get on that part of the meditation or bhakti or do something? Do you think they are going to come and tell that? Kabir goes. He declares, Janani janat sud bada hot hai, itna ka na janat. She doesn't know. She is unaware. All the statements are being made in a total lack of surati. Hence, no manan state. The one we had, the Guru ne kya sa man liya, is fine. That's not that manan. He says, manne moh chota nahi khaye, manne jam ke saath na jaye. No, what does jam mean? There is no guy with some horns and a black face and this to come and which takes. That's an absolute misinterpretation of this. What is a jam? The one who is in meditation, one who is a bhakti marg, do you think he is afraid of anything? Much less the death. One who has never ever known anything else, and the time comes, what's happening to him? He's crying, oh, please save me. Never ready to go. Jam is that fear. Manna jam ke saath na jaye. You will not go. You will not have the fear of going, because you know it is a transitory thing. Transitory thing of what? Now, when we were earlier in some of our sittings, we have discussed it, that when it is known that it is nothing more than a container, and the container is going to drop, and either I can pick up a new container or I can work enough so that I don't have to pick up another container and stay there. That's a choice. If I am going to pick up another container, that's a new container, I should be happy even in that case. This container is worn out. The third master, Guru Amar Das, in Ramkali Sad, he actually says exactly that. He says, मित पहजे मित बिगसै जिस मित की पैज भाव है तुसी विचार देखो पुत भाई हर सतगुरु पहनावे. Myth page. He says, when the clothes are worn out and a friend goes and buys new clothes, if you are a real friend, wouldn't you be happy for him? That he's going to get a new cloth? He's got a new coat now, new suit now. Shouldn't be happy? Myth page, friend, page is wearing what? New cloth. Myth big say. If you are a real friend, you will be happy. Just myth ki page bhave. Provided you are that real friend, you won't be crying. Why you have a new suit? Look at this suit. This suit is the one which is coming from the ultimate creator. Tusi vichar dekho put bhai, Sadguru pehnave. So why you will be crying and unhappy? Because of that fear. You have never tasted the Sat Santokh Gyan. You have never meditated. You have never been to the mundane state. Hence, you are going there jam ke saath, with that fear. Fear of the unknown. Gurbani absolutely shatters those myths. There is no angel of death which comes and escorts you and scares the hell out of you and punishes you and this and that. These were the models created earlier by the previous religions. Sikhism doesn't ascribe to that. There is no hell. There is no heaven. You can create your own hell heaven if you want. But he doesn't create. He does not punish. He does not reward. If he is a punishing or a rewarding energy, then he's just like you and me. No, he's beyond that. It's just a game. It's a play. You write a movie, you are the writer, you are the director, you write a character which is going to play the villain, you're going to write a character which will play the hero. Now, if this villain is doing such a great job that the people actually give him the reward at the end of the year, Filmfare award, don't you think that he's getting paid money also? He got the wealth, he got the reward, even though at that moment he was letting the rest of the world believe he is the worst kind of person. He just played a role. So, if in this physical dimension, a story writer who wrote a drama and said, you have this role, and that story writer is not that as good, he doesn't punish, he doesn't reward. Because if that was the case, he will take all these things away. It's a game, it's a leela, it's a play, drama, he enjoys the drama. Vikhe, vigse, khare vichar, nana kathana karada sa. So, he is not doing all of that. This jam concept is not the way we have scared the hell out of everybody else. Now, jam means the fear of death. More you are a meditator, more nearer you the Guru Shabad you are, more near to the Creator you are, the fear of death will go away. Because that marna is very easy. Kabir says, Jit marne de jag dare mere manana. That death is absolutely nothing. Learn to die here while you are in a body. What that death means? The dissolving of the ego. That death is far more painful than the death of the body. Actually, it's a relief. Somebody asked Buddha, what does death, how do you feel when you die? And he said, well, have you ever worn a shoe about 2 sizes too short? He said, yes, I have worn short shoes. He said, well, what happens when you take the shoe off? So you feel a relief, and like that's exactly what happens when the body, consciousness drops the body, you feel absolutely relief. No more pull of the gravity and no more punishment of the cells and tissues. The reality is, consciousness does not want to come back. Of its own volition, it doesn't want to come back. Now, if you get to the stage of a bhagat, you can choose not to come back. If you don't, then you will have to come back. Karmi ave kapda. You will have to take that cloth. There is no choice. You can get to the stage where you have a choice. If Nanak also didn't have a choice, then we have a problem. And Gurbani says, no. Those type of souls, janama marana dohu mein nahi. He has a choice. Then why does he come? Why he has to? Why did Guru Nanak have to take a birth on this planet? He says, well, Janapara Pukariya hai. Because that's the only way the word can be communicated. In the human body form is the only way to communicate with other bodies. So these souls, out of compassion, accept the role of that teacher, that communicator, that vichola, that mediator who comes and say, here is the word, this is how to use it, this is how to implement it. Manne jam ke saath na jaye, aisa naam niranjan hoye je ko man jaane ma. But this is only known to the one who have actually tasted it. Manne marg thak na paye, manne pat syon pargat jaye. On that stage, if you have started walking on that stage, if in that direction, then you will not find any stumbling block coming from that energy. Stumbling block may come from this energy, horizontal energy. Remember that. Manne Marg. Once you are on that path, thak na paye. The creativity would be actually helping you, encouraging you. Inner peace will be there. You will start enjoying it. But the outer energy is going to get jealous, going to get scared, and they're going to try to pull you back by creating stumbling blocks. But that energy helps. Manne marg thak na paye. Manne pat syong pargat jaye. Now what does this mean? It doesn't mean that there are band baje and there are all kind of the reception going on and this. No. Pat syong means what? Just as jam means the fear, here the pat means complete readiness. You are ready to go. You are anxious, you are willing, you are waiting for to get to that the other direction, dimension. Manne patsyo pargat chaay. The next line is interpreted in very, very different ways in all of them, and I'm going to even confuse you further because I'm giving you another version of that. Because the word is manne mag na chale panth. That's how they have. The panth eh hoya. Manne mag na chale panth. That he continue walking on the path. He has no other path to go on. He stays on the same path. The way I read it, the way it is coming to me is manne magan. Magna nahi hai. Magan. Walking on that path, traversing on that path, dwelling into it, manne magan. He is getting lost into it. Magan hunda ja raha hai. Challe panth. Walking on that path, you will keep on getting more and more and more blissful. Magan hunda jayega. And that is a most important test of anything that you do. As I said earlier, if you get up certain time and you go through the ritual of life, all puja part or meditation or yoga, it doesn't matter what you do. Then you have to basically ask yourself, is my anger going down? Is my greed going down? Is my moha going down? Is my lobh going down? Is my hankar, is my ego going down? Is any one of them coming control? Or is it happening? There is a beautiful parable in the story in the life of Buddha, that one of his bhikshu took the message from him, lesson from him, and then left the Sangha and went on a mountain top and for 30 years practiced and meditated. And there are people around him that he is the direct disciple of Buddha and he is not staying with the Sangha. He is by himself. And after 30 years of meditation, he decided to come down to the village. And now the whole of the village absolutely is anxious to see someone who has done so much of meditation for so long a time. And now the people, normally their behavior, somebody is trying to get to and touch his robe, somebody is trying to touch his feet, there is a crowd all over the place. And it so happened that in that melee of the people, somebody stepped on his foot. And he was bare feet, the pain of the pressure, and he cried suddenly, don't you know who am I? Can't you even watch it? Where are you going? Where are you stepping? And the master said, let's go back. You still have that, don't you know who am I? In 30 years, that's all you have accomplished? Don't you know who am I? That's your first reaction to the physical pain? And the master said, let's go. You even haven't taken the first step. The question, those who, this is a very, very important thing for meditators. That's why I repeat it so many times. Ask yourself, what happens to your daily exchange between your friends, between your relatives, with your business partners, with your husband, wife, children? What is your interaction changing? That's why Guru Nanak said, don't run away from the gristh. This is the real training ground for you. You'll find something immediately that creates an energy inside you and it rejects what's happening. Are you stopping yourself? Are you asking, why am I rejecting this? When the child does not behave the way you want to, are you asking yourself, am I doing out of anger or compassion? Where is it? And how do I decide? Is it anger or compassion? Can you distinguish the two? Are they coming down? If they are not, then would you please go back and review the method that you have followed and the process you are following? Maybe something is fundamentally wrong there. And that's what Patsyam Pargat Jaya. This is what Patsyam Pargat Jaya means. That you would be in such a blissful state that it, transcending that dimension, would not say, why me? Why now? Can you not give me a few more days here? No. You'll be ready. Manne magan challe panth. Manne dharma se ti sanbandh. That's the only test. All relation All equations are tested with what? Dharma. And what does dharma mean? Your basic inner essence. Dharma does not mean what you have learned. I belong to Sikh dharma. That's not what this dharma means. Dharma means what is your essence? Let me give you an example. If my inner being is in a turmoil and looking at something, I want to lash out, but I actually put a cover on it and say, come on, you're welcome. Have I spoken from my essence? The answer is no. You react from your essence. And when you are on meditation, your essence is nothing but love. Nothing but. It doesn't matter who's coming or who's going. Everything would be out of love and compassion. It's mind-boggling to me that Sikhs will repeat the story of Bhai Ghanaiya to everybody. That Guru Gobind Singh did this. And Guru Gobind Singh said, okay, you don't need to just give water. Actually, go and dress their wounds also. And then we turn right around and talk about Hindus versus Muslims versus Sikhs versus Christians versus... in the same breath. That's not dharma. Dharma is what is your... The reality is that real essence is something else. If inside there is love, only then the love can come out. And the love does not just come in till the manan happens. So he says, manne dharma se tisan band aisa naam naranjan hoye je ko man jane man koe. The last paragraph he says, if you are on that path, then what's going to happen? The last stage. Look at the sequence. Within the stanzas, last stanza, manne pave moh duar. That's it. Pave moh duar. You are now into the transcendental state of being. You have now arrived at the moksha, the nirvana. Means what? That now you have broken the bondage of life and death. Birth, cycle of being born and dying and reborn and dying. You have actually broken it. That is the methodology. You will take a word and you keep on going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and a time will come when the final bond will drop. Manne pave mokh dwar, manne parvare sadhar. That's the, and this word again also will create a problem for us. Parivar. Which parivar? These sons and daughters in it. Sons and daughters Guru Nanak couldn't take with him. So which parivar he is talking about? Parvare sadhar. Which is our parivar? Those senses. Rajneesh doesn't agree with that. Rajneesh said parivar is Guru and Sikh. That parivar. I'm not in agreement with it. Our parivar is our senses. Karmendriya and Gyanendriya. So what's happening to them? Sadhar. They are all getting sadhiyan ja rahi hain. Sadhana ho raha hai. Kyun? Starting point was manne surat hove man buddh. Everything is getting refined. Everything is getting single pointed. They're all coming together and slowly dropping. Manne parvare sadhar. Next line says manne tare tare gur sikh. Again a difficult state. That means if the Guru goes away, then the Sikh also will follow. He says that which one has reached that stage, he will give you nothing but that. Manne tare tare gur. The one who has gone there, he will not ask you to do anything else. He will not create a system. He will not ask you to create a missionary for him and a college and institutions and a gurdwara and temples and mosques and churches. No, he said just get there. Mane tare tare gur sikh. Those who are following, get there. He would not ask you to stay anywhere in the middle. He would not ask you to follow him. He will say, get there. Point directly. That's what Manne Tare, the one who has gone. And then, when he gets to that stage, he takes compassion of the remaining and tells them what? Here is the way to do it. You can also get there. Manne Tare Tare Gur Sikh. Those who are willing to follow, those who are willing to learn, this from the word Sikh came from. Guru Nanak called his disciples Sikh. That's the reason. Sikh means the one who is willing to learn. One has not become a master yet. If you are learning, then what? He says, then get there. That's the only way to cross that boundary. That's the only way to go to that other dimension. Manne tare tare Guru Sikh, manne nanak pave na bhik. What does this mean? Man, if you take these statements by themselves, line by line by line, you're going to absolutely lose the complete meaning. Manne nanak pave na bhik. Literal translation, single statement है कि उसनु फिर किसी को भिखिया मंगन नहीं जाना पैंदा. How is this related with what Russ has been saying? मंगन की तो गल ही नहीं हो रही. Right? To bhik means to beg. Right? How can begging be related to the process that we have gone over the last 4 stanzas? Manne nanak pave na bhik. It says that the Mandan state drops all of the things related with the mind-body system. Desires. You would need to ask somebody something if there is a desire left. Right? Begging, mangana means what? That means there is still a desire left. But when there is no mind, where is the desire? Who will ask for something? Who will beg for something? But if there still is a desire, even now here is a tricky thing, including the desire of finding God. Meditate on this thought. Even the desire of finding Him is a desire. And you'll keep on crying for Him. I want to meet you, I want to meet you, then that means you have a want. Then you have not gone to the Manan because there is somebody still saying, I want. Even that desire will drop. Hence there is absolutely no Mangan required. There is no bhik required. There is no charity required. Nothing. Because all these things are related with when the mind is. And when man is ho gaya, man nahi gaya, then there is nobody asking for anything. There is nobody giving for something. Manna nanak pave na bhik. There is no need. There is no compulsion for what? For any seeking, for anything. फिर हाँ ढाडी हर दर खसम का हर के दर आया हर ढाडी सुनी पुकार ढाडी मुख लाया हर पुछया ढाडी सदके कित करम तू आया. Look at this is Guru Nanak saying that a stage came. I mean, look at beautiful metaphor he is creating. That God called me in His own presence and said, "What do you want?" Now, is there a want? What's the next line? Har devo naam dayal sab mukh lag jaye. Mukh hai nahi. There's nothing to ask you. There's no demand. Facing face to face with the Creator, and Creator is asking what you want. He says, I ask what? Who's there? Who's going to ask? The one who was going to ask is no more. तू तो बाकी की रह गया कहते हर देवो ना. There's only ओंकार दी धुन रह गई. That's it. सब भूख लग गया. There is no hunger left. There's no desire left. If there was a desire left, how could I be facing to you? Face to face is only possible when all desires go away. When all desires go away, there is all demand go away, all demands go away, all begging goes away. There is nothing left. क्यों? मन्ने पावे मोख द्वार. तदे तो गल शुरू सी. मन्ने पावे मोख द्वार, मन्ने परवारे साधार, मन्ने तरे तारे गुर से, मन्ने नानक पावे ना भिख. This is all desires. That is the mannan of Guru Nanak. But the only one who knows, sees, feels is one. ऐसा नाम निरंजन होए जे को मन जाने मन. The one who has seen it, one who has tasted it, he is the only one who can actually understand and relate and appreciate this. Otherwise, it's just all intellectual gymnastics. So, today we have covered from the 12th to the 15th these 4 stanzas, 4 padas. Again, they are not paudiyan. We need to get into the habit of saying, Japji diyan paudiyan nahi hai. These 4 stanzas, first 4 stanzas, then last time we did, talked about, start with the physical and then become to the non-physical, right? This is physical. But mannan, manada na hona, now it's non-physical. So he took the journey of the disciple, started him with a children, little steps and say, learn to listen. Use this physical. Once the physical had it trained and is ready to listen, he say, now drop that also and let's go to the non-physical now. Go to the man. And man na hona. What is man? Man again is the collection of all of the karmendriyas, all the sanskaras that we have of this life and previous lives. This all collections. So drop all of that to next stage. And now the journey from here will then pick up. Is going to again build on it and say, those who have gone there, what are their nishaniya? What are their signs? And then we will start with the Panch Parvan, Panch Pradhan. What are those Panch and what is Gurbani talking about? Pure in sequence. Not a single stanza is out of sequence. It's a continuous journey. And we will take that at 2 weeks from now. With that, we conclude the session and I appreciate and thank you all for coming.